ゴジラ。
And hello, everyone. This is Nick Adam here on the Monster Report Live. The Monster Report's a show highlighting those entertaining creatures of film history. If you haven't already, smash that like button, atomic blast that like button like my good friend Everett, Godzilla Fan Freaks, says in the comments. Bam, fresh. And we are very energetic today because this is a long time coming. We have talked about this off and on and again, and it's just never... The stars never aligned until we could finally come to today, May 18th of 2025. Please welcome to the Monster Report Live, Mr. Fresh Vital himself, Rich Iso. How you doing, man?
Bam! Thank you for having me, Nick. Chilling.
And yeah, I'm so glad to have you.
Thank you. Yes, you're right. This has been a long time coming. I think it was like a year ago. We were trying to coordinate this, and it didn't happen until now.
Yeah, life happens, and you get busy. We're both just, we work a lot, and we get a lot of stuff going, and we produce our shows. It's just like, whatever it is. But yeah, I have always admired your show and everything you've done, the photography you do, the posts you do, and of course, meeting you years ago at G-Fest when we had the 2 concerts and stuff going on in the dealer's room, the panels. I mean, we just had so much fun, and we were always just kind of, 2 ships passing in the night. So this is awesome. We'll catch up with some of our chat here. Zillafan85, good to have you. Mike Young down in Florida. All right, he is here. Bobby Reynolds, good to have you. Mr. Stud, I imagine that's actually Rich in disguise saying
no. No. I think he's on my channel because we're streaming on both channels. So
yeah. That's awesome. 2 of my favorite monster-oriented channels. You are here. Len Medlock, fresh from Japan, Penzilla fan. All right, you guys are awesome in the chat, and really appreciate it. We both do because, you're going to like and subscribe to both our channels. And I am certain that most people know who you are, but just in case they haven't heard of Mr. Fresh Vital, I don't know how that's possible, but tell me a little about yourself. Tell me about your kaiju upbringing and bring us up to speed of where you are, here today.
Crap. So, all right, kaiju upbringing. Well, I'm Rich. I will say, I say this often, not often, but that whole Mr. Fresh Vinyl thing, that's not even something I came up with. That's something that just started by accident way back when I started videos. So I don't know. That's irrelevant. But my kaiju upbringing, you're like, so like we're going back to like how I got into this.
Little Rich, yeah. How did he get started?
I'm only 5'4", so I'm still little.
But, I wasn't going there, but okay.
I make more short jokes at myself these days than anything. But so we're going back 39 years ago when I was 5 years old. I'm not sure if my mom's watching. I know she clicked that interested option on Facebook for the event, but she had sat my ass down in front of the TV to watch Godzilla versus Megalon. That was my first Godzilla movie. I had it, I had the VHS somewhere over here. Watched it a crap ton. That was my first. And it's got a sweet spot in my heart. Always will. I mean, everybody remembers their first Godzilla movie. But interesting enough, that's not my first kaiju movie. My first kaiju movie was Rodan. And I don't remember. I don't know if I had it on VHS or I think it was recorded on VHS, from being on TV or something. And watching that, I think we just talked about this not too long ago on Coffee and Kaiju, but that movie scared the junk out of me. I gotta stop. I gotta try to stop cursing. Sailor's mouth. But that movie scared the heck out of me as a kid because the Mega Nulon just crawling around in a dark, damp, disgusting tunnel, and that sound they made, and they were killing miners, you know. So I remember that vividly, you know, from when I was a kid. But yeah, Rodan was my first kaiju movie. From there, just started finding more Godzilla movies. I think I got Monster Zero for a Christmas present. It was in my stocking one year. I don't remember how old I was when I got that one. Eventually, I saw Son of Godzilla. My parents recorded that off of TV. Funny enough, that they recorded that on a VHS tape that was right the film before it was Scarface. So I never watched Scarface, but every time I put Son of Godzilla on, I always caught the end of Scarface, you know, Tony Montana, you know, getting shot and falling off the balcony. So that's how I remember watching Son of Godzilla. And then, you know, it just took off from there, going to video rental stores, going to the sci-fi section and looking for Godzilla movies. You know, which one have I not seen? I'm like, where is this one? I've never heard of this movie before, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, I mean, I could go crazy at the depth for that, but that was the early beginnings.
I was going to say, what was it that drew you to the whole tokusatsu, men in suits? You know, when you're a kid, there's something magical about it, and I wonder what it was that really captured you.
So, like a lot of us, dinosaurs I was a big fan of dinosaurs as a kid. I remember having they weren't popsicle sticks, but they were like these like popsicle stick models that, you know, you just put them together. You know, you didn't have to glue nothing. You had like a spine, you put them together and you had like this skeleton of a dinosaur. I did jigsaw puzzles of dinosaurs. I remember watching, I think it was A Million Years BC, watched that a lot. There was this other really, at the time when I watched it, I thought it was the greatest thing ever. I actually watched this movie not too long ago and I realized that, wow, these are horrible special effects. I think it was called Planet of Dinosaurs.
Okay.
It's like a real late 70s sci-fi film. This spaceship crashes on this planet and it's like the love triangle, but they're on this planet of freaking dinosaurs. You know, so I was fascinated with dinosaurs. Then we moved to Rodan, big dinosaur. You know, and then from there, Godzilla, you know, big dinosaur, but larger than life, destroying. I mean, I didn't think it was cool. Yes, destroy that city, kill them all. No, you know, it was just taking us out of our element, you know, the real world and getting lost in tokusatsu. You know, what's not cool about seeing a giant monster fighting another one and trashing a city? So,
yeah,
that's
that
the fun of
definitely appeals. I mean, we're young boys and full of energy and love destruction.
Yeah,
and,
yeah, exactly.
And dinosaurs, obviously, that was a big draw for me too. Yeah, we've got Walter in the house. Good to have you,
What's up, Walter.
Still a big old heart. Rich, yes, Rich is one who, if he had an extra kidney, he'd give it. But I think you already gave one, right?
I did.
Yes,
I did.
Yeah,
I would do it again in a heartbeat. I would do it again if I could.
Yeah, if you had another one, yeah.
Yeah, but I need this one.
Yeah. Agree with the Mega Nulon Rodan. They were extremely creepy. And that was kind of on the violent side for a 1956 film, you know, but hey, in color too.
You know, when they dragged the miner that was killed out of the tunnel and they put him on the stretcher, his body just looked mutilated. It was just that was horrifying. You know, Rodan is like sci-fi horror when it comes down to it.
Oh, so. Yeah. No, Rodan is so good. I mean, I love watching that over and over again and, you know, seeing it on that, I think it was the classic media. They really need to get, you know, the Blu-ray 4Ks going on for that, you know, you know, an official. I mean, yeah, we can get them from Japan, but wish you could have been on my top 10 favorite non-kaiju kaiju podcast yesterday. Would have brought a lot of energy. That's why I'm full of energy, because I've got good old Rich. And then there's Leslie. We'll skip that comment. No, I'm kidding. Oh, well, Everett's here. I'm sure he's clocking in how much internet usage he will generate for this show. Yeah. Oh, hi. Yeah. Hey, I'm clocking in the internet to revenue here. Can't escape Leslie. You're right. Leslie is not making fun of you. If he's not poking fun at you, you know he must be mad at you. Like in
Yep.
legit real life, he's mad at you. But if he's poking fun at you, he loves you. Amazing, surreal feel to tokusatsu films. That's hard to quantify. You're right about that. And I know you end up oh, it was before I started on YouTube that you got started with podcast, vodcast, whatever we called it at that time, but getting live work done, getting reviews out there. What year was that, and what kind of motivated you to get into the content creation?
So it was all right. Let's go backwards a little bit to go forwards. 2005 came and went. Godzilla Final Wars. As we all know, that was like the big lull. Collecting was kind of like non-existent unless you were hunting older stuff. It wasn't until 2011 when the SH Monster Art series started, and I started pre-ordering those. Started picking up some Sofubi pieces at the time. So I started collecting again. I think I went like 7 years without buying anything. It was crazy. Excuse me. But it wasn't until joining, it was 2011, joined the Godzilla Collectors Group on Facebook when that was in like literally 2 weeks old. And then it must have been 2012 or so. I remember seeing a post about the X plus 30 centimeter Titanosaurus. Everett, your favorite, and we know.
That's right.
And it just caught my attention. Like there was this big discussion about Greg Cordaro from Radioactive Toys. I remember it because the conversation, people were saying it looked like they just squirted mustard on him. Where is he? I don't know. It's somewhere over there. That's the problem with mix matching all your stuff. Oh, there it is. You don't know where anything is. But it caught my interest. I'm like, all right, it doesn't look like mustard, but I get what the conversation is. But what the hell is that? It looks amazing. So late 2012, I started dabbling, like, what's this X Plus stuff? And I realized, it's just, I can't afford it. That just wasn't in my budget then. SH Monster Arts was, or maybe the few Sofubi here and there, Desugojis when they were still affordable. But it wasn't until January of 2013, right? 2013? Yeah, 2013, that I came across a little channel by the user of Samson West. And he was reviewing X Plus figures at the time. And that's why, I went on YouTube. I was looking for X Plus figure reviews, and I found Sam's videos, found his channel. I don't remember. I think I was commenting on his channel and how him and I started shooting shit, talking. And then he had told me about the X Plus group on Facebook. I joined that group. There was only like 40 people in the group at the time. Oh, Nev, thank you. Whew, giving me hot flashes. And so one day in January, I decided to sit down, pull my credit card out, go on eBay, and I spent $3,500 on X Plus figures. Stupid. I don't recommend it. I've seen other people do it, and then they blame me. Don't blame me. Be responsible for your own financial decisions. But that's how it happens, So anyway, so I bought like, I think 11 or 12 X Plus figures in one sitting. And then I decided, you know what? I want to talk about these things. I'd like, and that's what prompted me to start the YouTube channel. I joke around. Like I make jabs, but there was a lot of hand models out there where they would put the figure in front of the camera and all you saw was their hands, touch it and spinning the arms and all that shit. And I was like, my first couple of reviews were like that, and it just wasn't clicking with me. I just felt off. I felt like I was looking at the camera instead of looking at what I was, actually talking about. So that's when I was like, you know what? I'm going to set a table up, get a chair. It was actually an ottoman and some like bench or something. or like a like a lunch table, card table, one of those folding tables. And then that's when I did the 84 review. And that's when I felt like, bam, I found, my groove on how I want to present video content. And it just took off from there.
And your personality, I know, because what you are as a character on your show is rich. It's not like when I do a skit where I'm kind of playing a different character, sometimes I'm playing the characters in the show, a series. Rich is Rich, the genuine article.
Well, I mean, I'm definitely over animated in some of the videos. I think I want to say I'm a bit more toned down nowadays. But like in 2013, 14, when I was doing those skits and I was loud, obnoxious, rude, I'm not everybody's cup of tea, and I know that, and that's okay. But I was definitely over animated, egotistical, sure. I think I went through every kind of wave that you can go through to some aspect, being a content creator. But I was definitely a bit animated. You're getting more of the real me right now than anything. So,
well, and it's like that was what 2013 or 14 when you started publishing to YouTube.
Yes. It was, I think, April 18th, 2013 was the first video I did. It was the comparison of the 25 centimeter Mechagodzilla 74 and 75.
Okay. So, yeah. So going way back, to get the start on it. But all those are still up, right? You can check them all out, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Leave them all up.
Crazy back library.
Oh,
it makes me feel better. I once got into a bidding war on eBay with someone for a Megaguirus Bandai movie monster series. I won the bid, but which one? Like Zillafan85 comment after I asked the question. Was it the original theater exclusive Megaguirus or one of the newer one that came out some years ago? Just curious.
I was gonna say the one couple of years ago. Literally, I think I've seen that in Books A Million, but for like $30 or something. But
yeah. Those are the original one that came out in when Megaguirus came out. That was only a theater exclusive release, and it came in a box. That was I know a bit pricier to get at the time because that was the only one that existed. Unless you bought the Bandai blister pack that came with the Godzilla Heat Ray dorsal plates, Megaguirus, and the Mega Nuons or whatever. But
right, yeah.
Anyway.
Wander This World 97, Rich's videos and Fresh Vinyl Live was what got me into X Plus collecting. Me too. I remember my local comic getting into the diamond reissue, the 30 centimeter G54. Went home, Googled the reviews. FLV was #1. And you know what? I'm going to say this. Yeah, those, if you could find them out in the wild like that, like in a comic shop. But I remember talking to Rich at G Fest, and it's like, I'm going to get into X Plus now. And he's like, you got to get on the pre-orders. You know, that's what it comes down to.
Nope.
So many of those skits. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Someone likes my. Okay. So Zillafan Michael says it was the blister pack version. Okay. Gotcha. All right. We've got Leslie Chambers. That's what made Rich's videos so cool and relatable, because you saw in videos what you would more than likely see in person. And that was refreshing to find out. Yes. Hedra was a good one, as well as
Kumonga was fun.
Oh yeah,
overall fun. I will say about those earlier skits. I'm divorced. I was married once. My ex-wife, she was a freshing champ because I made her here. Hold the camera here. Do this. Dump this on me. Throw this at me. Spray me with this silly string. So she participated in a lot of those skits. Sometimes she'd come home and I'd be doing something. And then what was fun is the one where I do Kaiju. I was filming that when she got home. And that's what prompted me to refilm the Mothra bit that I did when I'm on the floor flopping like that. It was like, I was like, hold on, we got to film this where you walk by and you see me on the floor like a complete buffoon. But yeah, she partaked in the behind the scenes a lot. So those skits were fun.
I'm sure it was like, it's going to be weird at the time, but when it all comes together, it's going to make sense and people are going to like it.
Yeah. You gotta have the vision.
Yeah, especially if you're a Kaiju fan.
Yeah.
Len's got a question. Have you sent your videos to X Plus? Love watching them. Wonder if X Plus can share your enthusiasm in Japan. I'm sure they love to see collectors in America that if their figures are a big hit. I don't know. Yeah. Hey.
So I've talked with G Okamoto, here and there over the years. He knows who I am. Met him in Japan and in Osaka, 2015. Got to go to X Plus HQ, and that was courtesy of Kyle Yount of Kaiju Cast Collect All Monsters, as everybody knows. But honestly, I don't feel like my videos, like I'm not like super professional, so to speak. I'm a little unhinged, I'm not afraid to say what I want to say, good or bad, but I've never sent my videos to X Plus, but that's not the goal. It's just, the goal over the years is just talk about what I enjoy, share it, contribute, and just have fun doing it with everybody else that's enjoying the same thing.
Yep.
If it made its way to X Plus, cool. That's awesome, but not a priority.
You're having fun doing it. That's what matters. Yeah. Rich, with age comes wisdom. Oh, he had to go there, didn't he?
Yeah. Wisdom starting to show in the grade, right?
I know, right? Yeah. Been watching Fresh Vinyl reviews for close to a decade now, and I finally bought an X Plus -1 Goji. Yes, that is a great one. Okay. Which version out there? Dante Disc 1. Which version of that did you end up getting? Rich and Leslie channels, always a gateway to collecting X Plus. It's funny. Right? Yeah. What's up?
The Rich and Leslie's channel were my, that comes up a lot. So if I had to say anything to X Plus, where's our commission?
Right. Send us some freebies. Nah. Yeah. Or at least a discount. I don't know. But yeah, it's like, the gateway to collecting. It's like, I could watch your video and I kind of vicariously live through you. I thought when I started doing box days and stuff, I just wanted to do a couple and then I'd stick with more of the media stuff. Now I find myself doing more of that because people like it. Yeah. And I guess they must like live through you. I mean, yeah, they want to see your review on it just in case they may want to get it. But in some cases, the pre-order's over by the time we even got it, unless you got some sort of early release. And it's like, you still might miss that pre-order. Yeah. So, it's more along the lines of, I got it, but you guys out there at home got it too. Yeah. Or if you didn't, this is what you missed.
Yeah. I will admit, if there was something I could do for X Plus, it would be to do like an early review of a figure before it's released, to build up that hype, to get people to go pre-order it now. It was a couple months ago before the 25 centimeter Godzilla 74 came out. First of all, 10 out of 10 figure, perfection. But it was up for pre-order. So I was like, I'll just do a video talking about the figure, putting the information out there, where to pre-order it from, be it X Plus USA or, that was really the only place to get it if you're going for Rick, or you could win Hobby Search, go with Standard, or Ami, Hobby Link Japan, etc. So I was like, I'll just put a video together with all the information, get it out there, and maybe help people make a decision that way. And it was just another excuse to me to talk about more toys, collectibles. So
yeah, kind of a news, episode. Still on collecting. You don't have to have the figure necessarily in hand, but there's other figures you can use to compare.
Yeah. Well, I thought about if I do that, there's a lot of stuff that they keep announcing. I'm like, it's a lot of videos for me to do, So I was like, I'll pick and choose if I'm going to do more. But
it's never ending. Bobby Reynolds with the super chat. Thank you so much. I don't require them to read on the air, but thank you so much, Bobby. You're always very generous. Would you think that Rich Iso is like our Godzilla fan version of Fabio? Well, he's really kissing your butt. Oh. The Italian stallion. Okay. Wait. Godzilla, Power Rangers, 80s and 90s friends with Rambo for life. Okay, I mean, all good stuff. I know he's a big action figure kind of guy, an action movie like Rambo and Stallone and Schwarzenegger.
This Fabio 80s. Guy?
Fabio.
Is that the guy with the hair?
The hair, yeah.
The one that got hit by a bird on a roller coaster, right?
I remember that. Yes. bloodied up his face, and
Yeah.
he's just like, I'm Fabio, I'm beautiful, until now. DJC, heyo, good to have you. Leslie Chambers, Rich's I Do Roars video is arguably his funniest video he ever did. Though my kids love squishy soft when you demonstrate getting the tail section in there and you shout out Everett.
Yeah.
But the I Do Roars is a good one too. Yeah.
That was fun.
Orange Juice Splash on Biollante was an all-timer.
Yeah. That went right into the sink right after I did that.
Oh, did it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Scott's in the house. Good to have you. Standard 30 centimeter version from Sideshow. Okay. I know I met Rich. Walter met Rich at G-Fest. He was quite a different persona in his videos. He's, well, I mean, he's full of energy, but you know what? We met, I had my kids there. You're just like, it's just cool to be around you, So I think, you just bring the same energy. Maybe you just did in a different direction.
Yeah. I mean, look, I can't be running around G-Fest just bam, 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 bam. But, like people will be like, get the away from me. Like I wouldn't want to be around that, like, dude, chill out.
Right.
Somebody put it back in his box.
Yeah. And a 30 centimeter. Awesome. First X Plus was Galala. Seems like ages ago. Yeah. Now I have to find I Know Roars. Yes, you will have to find that. Look it up.
I do roars. I do roars.
I do roars. Not I Know Roars. Yes, I do roars for a good impression. All right. So yeah, remember Vigis videos getting knocked out by some X Plus boxes with someone tossing? I don't remember that one, but okay.
That one I set up all the boxes behind me and they kept like changing one. It was a wall, then it was like a weird pyramid, and then I was like, what is going on here? And then they just like tumbled on top of me again. My ex-wife was behind me and I told her just push them on me, no. Yeah. So
well, since I was going to say since the 10 years of being on YouTube and doing, you started with some live, some reviews. I remember, your live shows, forever ago too, when we were going to G-Fest, and then you'd get right back into doing live reviews and live interviews with people, people we all knew. Kyle Yunt, like you mentioned there. I know you had Goji Fan 93 once, a good friend of mine, and just all kinds of people coming on the show, and it was just like these guys. I relate to every single one of them. They're talking my language. I love everything they're reviewing. And so kind of where's that taken you over the course of those 10 years? I know we're as content creators, we got lives, we've had our ups and downs.
Yeah.
Where have we gone from there, and kind of where are you now?
So like Fresh Final Live, specifically with the live show, that happened by accident. Me and Sam were just shooting the shit. And we were like, yo, let's just go live. And just, we were, I think, it was Google Plus or something like that.
Yeah, I remember Google Plus and that Google, what was it called? Hangouts or something?
Google Hangouts. That's what it was. Everything's Plus nowadays, no offense to X Plus, but X Plus was the first Plus. But, but like these streaming things. Anyways, it was Google Hangouts. And we went live. I think we were on YouTube, my channel, and it was just me and Sam, and then we sent a link into the X Plus group. Kyle jumped on, and that became our like informal first episode of Fresh Final Live. It was after G-Fest 20 in 2013, and the thing was, my motivation was like, how do we keep this party going? I was like, why should it only be G-Fest where we all get together? And learned about Google Hangouts, and that was the key to keeping the party going. And it just took off from there. I think we did an episode once a month or something like that for a while. And what came out of that was just having fun, contributing, trying to give something back, trying to get people involved. Like I had said before, we just jumped on. We could all sit in front of the camera and do our content, but it was like, let's get more people involved rather, that way they're part of it rather than just sitting there watching it. Even at G-Fest, I wanted to bring people up. I wanted to get the audience involved rather than people just sitting in the ballroom listening to those that are up on stage. I like, it's about that getting people involved and, you know, joining a bigger world than it is then. And here's the thing. I think most of us can relate to this. When, you know, I was a kid, I didn't know anybody that liked Godzilla. No, not on my level. It wasn't until I think I was like 14 where I met somebody at a comic book shop, a buddy of mine, David Quigley. And I was looking at Bandai figures, and he already knew what it was and told me, yeah, that's the Bandai 8-inch destroyer, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, you know my language. And, but it was far and few between to meet somebody that, you know, that has a passion for it like we do. So again, being able to connect with the fandom more than once a year at G-Fest was the goal behind the live shows. So, getting people involved, meeting people around the world, freaking O2. He's still on YouTube. He's doing a lot of awesome music content. For those that remember O2, he's in Finland. There was one Fresh Vinyl Live we were on for 8 hours. That episode is not on YouTube anymore. It was just like unhinged. There was a lot of drinking, a lot of swearing. Somebody took a leak in a sink, you know, whatever. It was crazy. It was crazy. I think somebody went to bed, got up for work, and saw that, like, you guys are still on. It's just insane, you know. So just, again, the drive was being able to connect with people, you know, as much as we could outside of G-Fest. And yeah, I don't know if I answered the whole question, but
no, it's all good. Yeah, I was gonna say about like how things have changed. Even, you know, you had to go live somehow. So Google Hangouts,
yeah,
or like, I don't know, there was probably another streaming solution back then, like Skype maybe, because I did some of my interviews via Skype, but I never did them live like you did.
Yeah, so I think for the most part it was on Google Hangouts, and then was the dawn of StreamYard, because these are the only two that I've ever used it. Clearly in the last like 5 years or so, you know, the Fresh Vinyl Live has kind of taken a definite backseat. I just enjoy doing the videos now. I keep tinkering about bringing Fresh Vinyl Live back, but there's so much content out there from so many people. You know, for me to do it, and it's not to compete against anybody else, or, you know, I joke about, like, you know, competing against Collect All Monsters because I love those guys. And, you know, they need to remember that they were really on Fresh Vinyl Live first, fuckers. Excuse my French. But that's all jokes.
We love you, Cam.
Yeah, you know, David says it. Oh, it was Rich was the first one. Christine, yeah, I didn't do videos. Blah, 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 you know, blah, 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 whatever. But I have fun with that, you know, just breaking their chops. And I mean it with all love. But for me to bring back Fresh Vinyl Live, I would like, what am I going to bring to the table and do differently that nobody else is doing, you know? So that's my own personal motivation. Because Collect All Monsters puts on a great show. You put on a great show. The guys at Monsters with Attitude put on a great show. Walter, you're starting a show now, you know, so it's great. Everybody's doing something, you know, because at the core, where it really comes down to is, you know, my thing is doing the reviews, and my videos, and whenever I do those. Clearly, I've been on a 3-week break, but I'll be working on my next Bandai Marathon video tomorrow. But
yeah, so glad to see you doing that. Yeah, and the coffee with Kaiju.
Yeah, yep. That's next weekend.
Pretty regular on what? So Fubi Sit Down, I think.
Yes.
Which is Brian's show, right?
Yep. Yeah, so there's
so
enough content out there and things to participate in. Because if I bring Fresh Vinyl Live back, you know, it's still going to be the stripped down, you know, just kicking back, having fun. We got some topics to talk about type of thing. And, you know, I don't want to do too much homework type of thing. You know what I mean? So I don't know. We'll see. I was close to starting it again last month, but when I saw the price for StreamYard, I'm like, I got to buy stuff. I got landscaping to do, you know.
Life happens. Yeah. If you do, you know, I will fully support you. And I know everyone here in the chat will. And just letting everyone know in the chat, we will have a prize giveaway here in just a few minutes. Want to catch up with the chat. Speaking of Monsters with Attitude, Adrian's in the house. Good to have you. Robert Kennedy, good to see you too. Robert D.
That's
felt
right.
privileged.
Robert.
Yep.
Robert's an OG Fresh
Yeah.
Vinyl Live member.
Sweet. Awesome. Yeah. I've Jody. Yep. Walter, keep wanting to say Jedi Walter. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is what I love about
Walter's
the Kaiju
easy.
Collective. What's up?
Walter's easy to say.
Walter. I'll go with Walter. Yeah.
Yeah.
We can come together and make magic happen in the moment. Yeah. You got a great show going there. Walter. Tim Bartos, how did you choose the trademark facial image and design for that legendary shirt? I added the word legendary, but it is a legendary shirt.
So 2014, it was like January 2014 or so, maybe in December 2013. I was like, I got to come up with a logo, popped in my head. And I started messing around with like just a screenshot from one of my videos. And I made it black and white. I felt like that just looked cool. But it was like literally from the 84 review that I did, but it's got the collection, the background. You can see like up here, the figure, the table, the window in the room. And it was just too busy. But I was messing around with that. And then John Stanowski helped with John Stanowski did this for me. I took Fresh Vinyl, put it to Google Translate, translated it, and it just looked like it was in Arial, so it didn't really have like a bam to it like it does now. So John Stanowski of Kaiju Addicts, he fonted this up like that. And then I was messing around with the picture again. I put this on top like it stayed. And then I put Fresh Vinyl, underneath the image. Again, it was like, just imagine like a image that you see right now, but in black and white, kind of like this. And it just was too busy. I was talking with Del Martinez, and I was like, I showed him the image, and he should be credited for this. Because he was like, why don't you make it look like the Obey shirt with Andre the Giant, Obey?
Oh,
yeah. So I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. So I just, I took the screenshot, zoomed in on my face, cut everything out other than this, flipped it to black and white or whatever, however I did it, slapped the logo, the line up here and the line down there, and bam. And that was it.
I tell you, yeah, shout out to Dell, shout out to Stanowski.
Yep.
Yeah, to bringing that all together, because it's you've been consistent with it. I see those shirts all over the place, and it's just awesome that you left that impact on people. So
yeah. Now the funny part about the image itself, it's from, again, the 30 centimeter 84 review. I've told the story a bajillion times. So if you haven't heard it, you're going to hear it. If you have heard it, you're going to listen to it again, because that's what's happening right now. And so the face comes from 30 centimeter 84 review. I'm sitting there, and I got the figure in front of me, and I got a window open over here, and a breeze just comes in. And I just literally, I kid you not, get a smell of that Fresh Vinyl. This is before the channel was Fresh Vinyl. And I go to say, everybody loves the smell of Fresh Vinyl, especially on box day. And that's me saying that line. This is the face that I had box day, so it's awesome that that's the image for the logo for the channel, because it comes from that line, which really, kind of encapsulates the whole, everything that this channel is about. So that's
awesome.
That's
sorry.
And we're back.
There we go. Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, very cool. And there's people in the chat that have said they still got their shirts from forever ago. Yeah, like Aaron Gallegos. Yes, good to have you.
Let me tell you, those shirts from forever ago, Aaron, if you had one that I sent to you, those shirts, if it's still in good condition, impressed. But shameless plug, if you go on my YouTube channel under the shop, you'll see the whole section for anything and everything through TeePublic. Shirts, hats, totes, onesies for your kids. All kinds of crazy stuff. So, and this shirt that I'm wearing now, much better print. It's got the logo, the buy vinyl, fresh vinyl on the back. So better quality shirts from T Public.
Awesome.
You can get them all kinds of crazy colors too. I got a green one somewhere over here, a red one, a blue one, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Anyway.
DJC, did you know that Rich was the voice of Steve Martin Jr.? I actually did know that in the Godzilla Kenshin trilogy by Nico Polinar, Plutonium 23 and Goji Fan 93. I was a short cameo voice in that too, but you had a bigger part. So yes, that's awesome.
Steve Martin, definitely a New Yorker in that movie.
And DJC, thank you for the subscribe. Yes, if you haven't, you got to subscribe to both our channels. Get us up there. We are less than 1,500 to that silver plaque here on the Monster Report. So again, it's because of the fans that any of us are doing what we're doing. It's because of you guys and the love you show us. So show us some love. And amazingly, I'm just getting started doing live streams. That's great, Walter. And yeah, do it. Go ahead and shout out your channel. Hopefully I can have either one of you on it. I'm sure we're both game for that. Yeah. You've been doing some streaming lately. I know we were both on Collect All Monsters talking some Angie.
Yep. That was fun. Anguirus is, what was it, 70th? Yeah, 70th.
70th, yeah. And we got Robert Kennedy. Just wonder if Rich Iso was getting the clear burning 95. Don't know that.
Which X plus one? I don't know. Which was the clear burning? I don't know.
Yeah. Give us a link or something, or let us know exactly which that one is. Jessica Etchels is in the house. Good to have you. She was on that Collect All Monsters with us, talking some Angulus, and she is the Angulus fan. Yeah. Adrian Seraphin, first guy I had in studio with me a couple of weeks ago. So good to have you from the Real Kaiju Collectors. Michael, everyone, please sure that you atomic blast that like button for these two titans. Thank you so much, Michael Young. And he's got his channel, Zillafan85 on YouTube. He's got some great content. Can't wait to come back for a live podcast. Yes, we'll have you. They're the rare Hoosier Kaiju guy. So yeah, it's awesome to have you. And I hope our internet access is stable, guys. Let us know if it's every once in a while. It seems like on my end, I don't know. It seems like things are laggy a bit, but if everyone's watching and seeing and hearing us fine, that's great. We'll stay on as long as we can. Walter, pleased to say I have my own official fresh vinyl shirt. Best money can buy. Get it from T Public if you haven't already. Don't let Walter get all of them. Space Beast, popcorn. Yes. Good to have you. Great episode. Chris Olio from Seismic Toys. Thank you for being here. Frozen in Time. Yeah, it came a legend. All right, Jessica Etchels, good to have you again. Fun show. All right, thank you, everyone. So Robert's talking about the Wonderfest Clear Burning 95 X Plus. Saw it on Awesome Collector. I don't know.
Is that the all orange and red one?
Yeah, I imagine it is. Yeah.
I think if that's the one I'm thinking about, I saw it on Big Bad Toy Store for like $500, $600 because of the tariffs. So,
oh gosh!
But no, I'm not. If that's the one that I'm thinking about, I don't know. I don't know if it was clear, but I didn't look at it all that hard, anyways. But I am not getting any other Burning Godzillas right now. If I do get one, the only one I would go after would be that Easy Hobby, gigantic Burning Godzilla.
Okay, gigantic. Yeah.
All
right. I figured this would come along. The best favorite X Plus that we own. I guess we can go with what we own. I mean, there's ones that I don't own I'd love to have, but the ones you do own that you just absolutely put as the top favorite. Let him get it. That's fine. Go right ahead if you need to.
Yeah, I'm gonna get him.
Yep. While he is
wait here.
Yeah, we'll wait here.
Don't go anywhere.
Maybe it just came in the mail.
I'm going to knock something over. Okay. Everybody should know my answer for this one. So, the favorite 30 centimeter, which is also my favorite X Plus figure, um, is the 30 centimeter Godzilla 1964 closed mouth. This is actually a reissue that came out, I want to say also May of 2013. It's a light up with the blue dorsal plates. And it just so happens to be autographed by Akira Takarada and Haru Nakajima. A little hard to tell because he did it in black. So this piece is everything. So, I mean, it was my favorite before it was autographed, and now it's just everything. That's it. Yeah.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, I can't say much more about it. You know, it's speechless. But
And because my internet was a little wonky there, I got Nakajima. Was the other one Takarada?
Yes, Takarada is in the silver.
There it is. Okay, sweet. I'm telling you, I got a laser disc of Mothra versus Godzilla 62, 64, whatever, 62. So 64. Gosh, why am I thinking? The laser disc copy of that, signed by both of them, and it's awesome. The same way. So yeah, something we'll always treasure forever. Yeah, can't go wrong there. Both of them rest in peace. Yes.
Yep. As far as a 25 centimeter, now specifically X Plus, because I'm gonna cheat. It's the entire GMK lineup that you can't really see. Oh, there it is. The entire GMK. I hate when I do this lineup, which is also the MM28 figures, which were model kits originally. So those are my favorite 25s. I've said this to Eric Henry. We've talked about it. That is the best X Plus lineup that exists. Fight me if you disagree.
But it makes for a great shelf of all of those together. Yeah. All right. Okay. Let's see. Zilfan85 says the internet's perfect. Okay, great. Yeah, as long as you guys are out there hearing us, it's sometimes on my end of things. I'm out here in the boonies of Indiana, and internet's always like, well, whatever one company is, we got to go with it. Maybe there'll be some competition.
Wait a minute.
Oh gosh.
Wait a minute. If you're in Indiana, maybe your internet problems is related to something else going on in Indiana.
What could possibly be going on in my little state?
You know, maybe that show Stranger Things is not really a show.
Gosh.
How far are you from Hawkins?
Hawkins? I don't even know where Hawkins is. I should know this being from Indiana.
Town over.
It probably is. Oh gosh. Okay, Rich is talking about the X Plus Godzilla 84. Oh, did you sell yours to Chris Cooper's?
No.
Oh, okay.
Wait, when Rich is talk about the X Plus 84, he sell it to Koji and it got him into X Plus. Well, I think I know what he means. It's like I sold Chris on collecting X Plus.
I get you.
Mm-hmm. I don't know if that's accurate, you know, but cool. And I'm glad I'm glad Chris got into X Plus. And if you're out there watching, what's up, dude?
What's up, Chris? Yeah, Goji Fan 93. He's still doing his stuff. Yep. What do you want to see X Plus do or try next from Seismic Toys?
I don't know. That's a good question. I want the kaiju that haven't been done yet. The infamous missing in action Mecha King Ghidorah, King Ghidorah 91. We need a flying Megaguirus. I want a flying Rodan. I really would like to just finish out the collection, you know, of kaiju that have not been done. But I think it would be cool. So I probably should have picked this up, but I didn't because and Leslie gave me shit for not getting it. The Godzilla 65 and Ebra, you know, throw.
FSL.
Yeah, like Jessica just said, the Anguirus 04. Yeah, give me all. I want all the kaiju. I want them all. Collect all monsters. Plug.
We will collect them all. Yes.
But I think like diorama type stuff would be really cool. More like like the Yuji Sakai, I have them down here. The Yuji Sakai appearance sets, those are like mini dioramas. So I think stuff like that after we get all the kaiju that haven't been done. Like Tim Bartos just said, everybody's been wanting a 30 centimeter King Caesar. That would be cool. I mean, the 25 is perfect if you ask me. So to see a 30 centimeter King Caesar, like, yeah, like knock it out of the park, because I'm trying not to do doubles anymore. Trying
30 centimeters, 73.
Yep.
Yep. There's the unmade one. Question, Rich, do you have a Mecha Kong figure by chance?
I have the I'm actually gonna put it in my Bandai video when I do King Kong versus Godzilla, but I have the Bandai Mechini Kong. So I'm just gonna tag that on the end of the King Kong versus Godzilla Bandai Marathon episode, because I don't think I'm gonna do a whole episode on the Bandai Mechini Kong. But that's the only one I have.
Gotcha. The Baragon is amazing. Probably part of that GMK you're talking about. Yeah. And then they did the re-release recently, and then weird things happened with tariffs and X Plus North America. If you want to even talk about that, I think that is maybe now settled. I hope. We'll see, I guess.
Yeah. With that whole thing, like I just watched a short on YouTube before we came on, Mike Czerkowski with Vampire Robots. Every American retailer is facing tariffs. It's an unprecedented situation that nobody's had to deal with. And it really sucks when it comes down to it. And it's every toy company, because everything comes from China. So, unfortunate, that it hits home for us collectors, no matter what brand you're collecting. Hiya, however you pronounce that, that's a big popular brand right now that just released a 91, and we don't know if we're gonna get it. And that sucks. At the end of the day, yes, it's first world problems. I can't get my toys, of course. There's bigger and more important things in the world to worry about than collecting figures. But with X Plus, Hiya, even wait, who was it? Oh, Seismic. Chris, they posted something not too long ago. So everybody's feeling it. It's like, what do we do? 130% tariff on do the math, on a $120 figure. It's gonna double, triple in price. However, whatever, do the math. I'm not good at math. Numbers is not my thing. But the company, the distributor, manufacturer, are going to have to eat those costs, or they're going to pass them along to the customer. And you think the customers are really going to want to pay that? Absolutely not. So what is these retailers, X Plus, Hiya, SH Monster Arts, whoever, what are we supposed to do? It's like, shit, what do we do? And everybody's freaking out. Like, we don't know what to do. So X Plus US, first was going to cancel orders. I think that was the wrong approach at first. I could understand if that was the end result. Super 7, Bandai, yep, same thing. DJC,
Titanic Creations,
yeah. So,
yeah.
But it's like how, like, no one's ever going to pay these prices. And I think if it was basically, if a shipment was coming over from China that had over $800 worth of value, subject to tariff. So think about what, 2, 3, 4 30 centimeter figures is over $800. So what are they going to do? Ship 2 figures at a time? You can't do that. That's stupid. Like, no business would do that. You're talking about wasting a lot of money. So first, things were getting canceled outright. Basically, when you ordered something from X Plus USA, you paid for it up front. I think the shipping was included too. So technically, we already paid for these figures. Everybody was going to get a refund type of thing. Then, literally just in the past week or so, the update is that, X Plus USA, an honor, keep those figures on order. Everybody's going to get their stuff. Whether that price changes, I don't know. If it does, I wouldn't be surprised. That's just how tariffs work, And again, somebody's got to eat the cost, A lot of people said, if we were ordering from the Rick US site that was before the USA site, we probably would have been okay because those items would have shipped separately to collectors, not batched in large cargo inventory coming to America. Again, X Plus USA, Haya, here, how have you been? Super 7, anything that's getting manufactured overseas that's being shipped inventory to the United States is going to see those problems.
Right.
So it's unfortunate. And at the end of the day, communication goes a long way, especially to your market, your fan base, your customers, your consumers, however you want to put it. That way they're, everybody's got a lot of questions, and there's a bajillion questions. This, what about this? How come this? How come blah, 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 blah. People pissing and moaning, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, it sucks, but communication, I think, is the key. I've seen a lot of these retailers, Seismic, Vampire Robots, X Plus has put it out. This is the situation we're in. This is what we're going to do about it. Just sucks, in some cases, shit hits the fan faster, than getting the answers that, we'd like to hear. But again, first world problems.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And I think in a lot of ways, if everyone just kind of like, hey, maybe put out a delay, be like, hey, it's like, it's going to be delayed. We're going to be hopeful. We're going to hope that this gets resolved.
Yeah. Just put everything on pause right now until we figure out what we're going to do, versus just saying, sorry, we're not fulfilling these orders. Again, it doesn't matter what retailer. Clearly, being an avid and passionate, loyal X Plus customer, that one hits home pretty damn hard, knowing that. And you know what? Here at the thing at the end of the day, what really sucks is the X Plus US site just started literally like a year ago or so. And then these tariffs happen. Like, what a kick in the balls. What's up, Vince? What a kick in the balls, honestly, to the U.S. operations. Because it's like, yeah, we're just getting things started in the U.S. and now for it only to get slapped in our face with tariffs, so that is a drag. But we'll hopefully, I think right now, everything's like a 90-day pause. Tariffs were brought down to like 30%. What's going to happen after 90 days? Are they going to go back up? And then what? It will be what it will be. I don't need to collect. I don't need this stuff. So it will be what it will be. So we just got to go for the ride.
Yeah, I think just got to be patient and, kind of understand that if it's not going to happen now, it might be happening down the road, or someone's going to have to figure out how to manufacture this stuff from another place. I don't know. I mean, I don't like that everything comes from China. It'd be nice if there was some diversity in that. Some things from China, sure, but can we get some other overseas markets for some of this kind of stuff? Again, that's not easy to just do that overnight. So it does suck. But as far as collecting goes, and if you're in the chat right now, let us know. Are you ready for a giveaway right now? We are going to do this giveaway. Hopefully you stuck with us. We got some likes. We got some subscribes, and we really, really appreciate that. And be sure you do that. And here we go. It's a trivia question. And just answer in the chat. First one who comes up with the answer for it gets this figure that I've got sitting right next to me. And I will pay for shipping and send it your way. All you got to do is DM me later on your address, and I will take care of you getting this to you. Just and if it's something you already got, I'll take care of you some other way. I'll figure something out. We'll get.
There's a tariff. There's a tariff included on this, by the way.
Oh, well, yeah. If you're domestic, I could send it to you because I bought this domestically before the tariffs. Everything that happened pre-tariff, it's like pre-COVID and post-COVID. It's like pre-tariff and post-tariff. Oh my goodness. We're living in strange times. So here is the trivia question for you. This comes from the movie Invasion of Astro Monster. In Tetsuo Akira Kubo's workshop is a model of spaceships used in another Toho film. What is the name of that film? those models that are in the background, Akira Kubo's workshop. Does anyone know what Toho film, those spaceships are used in? And we'll give the chat a little bit of time to
This is
figure
from
that out.
Monster Zero.
Monster Zero? That would be funny, but
No, I'm saying this is the movie, right?
Monster Zero or Invasion of Astro Monster.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay.
Battle in Outer Space. Good guess, Robert D. That is not correct, though. Vince Elliott, also a good guess. That's too easy. I'll pass, Walter.
All right, Walter. Put your money where your mouth is. Say what it is.
Tim Bartos has got it. Gorath. He misspelled it, but that's okay. He got it. He was like, get Gorath in there. So, Tim, awesome. Thank you. Let's get that question out of here. Tim, you win. Invasion of Astro Monster, the Super 7 figure here that I purchased. Where did I get this? I think I got this from FYE. It looks weird with that green screen effect, but you know what it is. It's Godzilla doing his victory dance, and this looks weird because it's a glow-in-the-dark figure. So there you go. In fact, I think I've got here. Here we go. There's the overlay of it, so you can just see what that looks like. All right.
Blister pack. The packaging is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, it is awesome. I did get this one as standard for myself, actually, and got the glowy for the giveaway. So congratulations, Tim. Just
congrats,
and Tim. Afterwards. Right. Yeah, congrats. And yeah, Tim, just message me, Facebook, Instagram, or X, any of those, and I will get your address and I will send it to you pronto. So, all right. Cool. That was fun. All right. I love giving away stuff. And once we get 100,000 subscribers, there will be a big giveaway. So get us there.
Let me first, I said this to you a couple weeks ago when we did Collectible Monsters. Big ups, sir. 100, almost 100,000 subscribers. That's insanity.
Well,
good job.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. And I never want anyone to feel in competition because we're all doing this because we love what we do. And we support each other. I think that's the best part.
Yeah, that's great, though.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Thank you so much, everyone out there. And, of course, I have to give a big shout out to Legendary for retweeting my one viral video where I was being chased by Godzilla with my terrible acting. But it was a fun day, you know, so, oh, man. I remember you actually, even at G-Fest one year, complimented on that. And we did a cool like promo for Symphonic Fury, and I remember you were just like, you know, we were trying to get the Kickstarter going, and you're doing your fresh thing, and it was just like, man, I wish everyone brought the energy that Rich was bringing, but in the end, it got funded, which was great, and that was awesome. So yeah, thank you for that. We've done a couple of things like that, and I know that you know we've drawn some inspiration. I draw some inspiration from you. Collect All Monsters and Kyle when he did his Kaiju cast, of course. I drew some inspiration from that, but even non-Godzilla YouTubers like the Nostalgia Critic and Cinemassacre, things like that. Back in the day, you know, when they were smaller than they are now. But I drew some inspiration. Was there any kind of inspiration like that to develop your show? I mean, Samson West, you mentioned.
Yeah, I mean, the inspiration really, it was just hanging out, you know. But again, the first episode of Fresh Vinyl Live, specifically, that was just hanging out, you know. And then I was like, hey, we should do this like once a month or something. And then we started picking topics, and you know, it was typically talking about X Plus, and then we started talking about other collectibles and whatnot. Movies, and you know, talk about David's favorite, you know, franchise is the Monsterverse because he loves it so much. Kidding, that's all sarcasm. Hopefully he's not watching. If he is, I'm sorry, it was a joke. He hates the Monsterverse. But but the influence really just comes from the fandom itself. And that's the fun part, you know, and it's always goes back to having fun. I personally never intended for my channel to turn into what it turned into. I never had a goal to be somebody or whatever we're calling this still 12 years later. Um, it was just to be a contributor and give back to the fandom that I love so much, really, at the end of the day. The fact that, I got this gimmick Mr. Fresh vinyl, the fact that there's a shirt that people wear around the world, and it was all by accident. It just wasn't, it didn't have like this goal at the beginning to turn it into what it's turned into. It was just be real, just have fun, and give something back give something back to the fandom. So that was the influence, really, in a
Yeah.
nutshell.
Yeah, it's the influence of the fans, what they love, and just bringing them together. So yeah, Shingeki no Kaiju, and I'm terrible with these names sometimes. Sorry. Congratulations, man. Okay, so and I was gonna say when it comes to when you're doing lives and all this, you're kind of like me. Sometimes you have a little bit of a plan, but you even mentioned I plan not to have a plan. It's like just let it flow.
Yeah, just let it, like, again, like we've been bouncing back and forth with the people in the comments. If we sat here, just you and I talking the whole time, ignoring everybody in the comment section, what fun is that for them? How do we, like, all right, yeah, they're just talking about whatever they're talking about. Maybe, that's entertaining in its own way, but I still find, looking like I see you doing it, I'm doing it, my eyes are going back and forth to the comments, because without an audience, we don't have a show. Like, why do I do this if there's, if you don't have an audience? And the idea is that, I work for you guys, so to speak, and that's motivating in itself. So
it's a good way to think of it. And you had just fate. We never were noticed where destiny takes us. I was going to say about like the memories you formed, whether it's at a con or out there, or whatever, meeting some of the Japanese guests that we get in, the celebrity guests that we get in. I know you've got some really cool special memories. Anything that's just like, oh my gosh, this was like the top thing that I've done.
Yes. Sorry, Leslie. I think it was either 2013 or 2014. Chiller Theater, New Jersey. It was the first time, if I remember correctly, that all three Godzilla suit actors were together in the United States, making an appearance. So Haru Nakajima, Ken Satsuma, and Tomatsu Kitagawa, all at Chiller Theater. It was being promoted as the first time ever, the big three. And then also was having a brain fart, the artist. Wow, that's bad. I can't remember his name right now. Some fan I am. Somebody put in the comments, who I'm talking about, the artist that went to a lot of conventions. I'm having a brain fart. Anyways,
American artist, or was he a Japanese guest?
Japanese artist.
Was it Orai?
No.
No,
that would have been epic.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. Yeah,
I'm completely blanking right now. But anyways, so that was the first time I saw Nakajima and Satsuma. Nishikawa. Yes, thank you, Tim. Shinji Nishikawa. That's the artist.
Awesome. Yeah.
All right, so to go backwards, to go forward again. The first time I met Nakajima and Satsuma was in 1997 in New York City at G-Con, when it was split in two. If anybody doesn't know, back in that time frame, J.D. Lees and John Rocco Roberto, they used to work together. Then they had a fight, because the world, and then they separated. John Rocco Roberto started his own G-Con in the East Coast, which later became Kaiju Con. Anyways, G-Con 97, Nakajima and Satsuma were there at the Hotel New Yorker. I went with my buddy who I mentioned earlier, Dave Quigley. I was 14 at the time, and that was the first time I met them. And the only time I met them up until 2013, Chiller Theater. So back to your question, the moment that just got me all in the feels. Walking into the room where all three of them were. Again, my ex-wife was with me. We were with Brian, David, I believe David was there, Paul Ramiro, and John Stanowski, probably a couple other people. And I remember walking, and I felt like I was frozen. I was literally trembling, walking up to Nakajima's table. Literally, I was shaking because I was like, this is the first time I've seen him since the first time I saw him. And I definitely grew in the last, 15 years, as a Godzilla fan. So seeing him sitting there at the table, I was just taken back. Like, there's my childhood hero. Everybody always talks about, oh, why do you like Godzilla? He's just a man in suit. Shut up, bitch. So is Superman and Batman and Spider-Man. They're all just guys in suits. So shut up. That's our hero in a suit, and he's much bigger than all those other ones. I remember, I think it was Gene Cahill was working that show. He was telling me, hey, I didn't grow much. I know, Jess. Thanks. I'm still a whopping, staggering 5'4". Excuse my French. My bad. My bad. That's the animated side of me that comes out. But I remember being told, come on. And my wife was behind me, and she like, go. And I just like, oh, I was like, I didn't know what to do. And it was just memorable. It was breathtaking. It was just everything. It was everything. And Nakajima will forever be a sweetheart. That man is just everything. And then another clearly seeing Kitagawa and Satsuma again was just awesome. I had met Kitagawa at G-Fest 20. I think it was the summer before, or the previous summer. But fast forward to Monster Mania 2015 or 16, saw Nakajima again. And in short, his daughter was with him. His daughter went with him to a lot of these conventions, would help him, assist him, anything she could do to help him, just be comfortable. She would help with autographs. I had already got Nakajima's autograph that weekend on an 8x10 of him right here. But I decided to go get another one right here. I was like, I'll get a second one because he's, it's him. You see him. He's on the beach with the 64 suit, which is my favorite. So I was like, I'll pay for another autograph. Like, why not? Like, yeah, like that's logical. And I remember Jim Serenella, if you remember from back in the day, he was Club Dai Kaiju back in New Jersey. But he, working that convention. And I asked him, I was like, can I ask for Sonoe's autograph? And he's like, sure, or something. I don't really remember what he said, but he said yes. And I told him, like, I'll pay. He's like, no, you don't have to pay for her. I was like, but I will, if she's cool with it. I was like, I don't expect handouts or anything for free. So I sat down. Oh, no, I didn't. Nakajima was sitting down at the table. I was on his right. Sonoe was on his left. Put the 8x10 in front of him. He signed it. Sonoe handed him the marker to sign it. And then typically what you would do after he signed it, you take a picture. So he was getting ready to take a picture. And I was like, kind of like, hold on, bro. And I pushed the 8x10 in front of Sonoe. And I went to her, I was like, your autograph, gesturing to the picture. And I have photos of it. Jess, I think you were the one taking the pictures, if I remember correctly. She was like taken back. She got teary-eyed, eyes glazed over. And there's a photo that I have where she's like looking at me like in shock that I asked for her autograph. And I got goosebumps just remembering it. But when she got like her composure again, and like, because she seemed like, I don't know what to do. What do I do? Where do I sign? Blah, blah, blah. And she signed in the upper corner. Really beautiful autograph from her. But Nakajima is sitting there, and how do I do this? This is what he did. So he's sitting there, I'm over here, she's signing over here, and he does this. He just looks at me like that. He eyeballs me like, you sly SOB. And I'll never forget it. I don't know. I'm not crediting myself, but I think, that started a trend where people started, hey, let's ask for her autograph too. And I think that's important. I don't care if other people ask for it. It was nice to make her feel part of it. Again, that's what I started, was going on earlier about, just doing these shows, doing the panels, getting people involved. Snowy is there every show with her dad, in the background. Let's put her on the pedestal, put her on full blast. She's doing all that work, all that effort, traveling all around the planet to go with her dad. She should be in the spotlight just as much as he is, if you ask me. So that was my moment to say thank you to her, make her feel special. And the fact that, other people started asking for her autograph, here and there. Jess, me, you, Christine, was it just the three of us that we brought her to G Fest in 2019? I forget. It was, or maybe it was 2018, the year after her dad passed away. And we coordinated with Tim Bean to bring her over. So it was important to make her feel appreciated, for what her dad brought to the world and what she did to contribute to all that. So yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
and that is,
big defining moments.
Oh, you just took me there, and to be there in that moment. Yeah, Jessica was able to share that with you, and it was emotional for you guys, but you'll never forget that. And the fact that the fans, demand her dad's attention and and his presence. Obviously, she's in Nakajima. She's been there with him, not throughout his whole career, but again, it's like we demand his attention. She's family with him, so let's see this thing. Yes.
Yeah. Oh,
and
so his autograph. This is Sonoi's right here, and this is the 8x10 with him sitting on the beach having a cigarette break with the 64 in the background. Love it. It's in black and white. Clearly with the Fresh Vinyl logo, it's just black and white's just a thing for me. But perfection.
Oh, absolutely. And I love Haru Nakajima's signature that he puts on, and the way he writes it is just undeniable. And I was at All Monsters Attack, his last convention before passing away. And it was Kitagawa there too. And we were going to get an interview with him, but he was very sick. I mean, he was going downhill. And but the thing is, he stayed until every autograph. As sick as he was there to sign every autograph, and his line was out the door. Being mostly kind of it wasn't All Monsters Attack. It was called Days of the Dead. And it was in Indianapolis, and that all of the Jason Voorhees horror movie kind of actors were there, and they had decent lines. But Nakajima, it was out the door. I mean, they were there to see the man in the suit. So yeah, don't tell me this man can't be legendary. He is a living legend, and now he's passed on and lives in our memories. So yeah, be careful if you buy his autographs on eBay. Okay, well, you're probably right about that. Get it from a collector who has a picture
and authenticate it.
Getting them signed by him. Yeah. Bobby Reynolds, again, thank you for the super chat. Again, I don't require that, but he likes talking about Fabio the Italian Stallion 51 is a movie review. Okay, so it's like a reviewer, like on YouTube. He sent me a link, so I'll have to check it out. Bobby, thank you for that.
You have to send it to me too, so I can enlighten myself.
Yeah, I'd like to see this too. But yeah, it's crazy because there's the American action movies, the American horror movies that were out there, and some of these like fandoms kind of crisscross. But it's like we always liked the big G. We always liked the big man in the suit. I even like on the back of the Godzilla 1985 VHS says something like, he makes Clint Eastwood's and Rambo, look puny or whatever. And I'm like, yeah, that's the way to look at it. This big Japanese, just icon. And yeah, we love we love Schwarzenegger and Stallone and things like that. But, you know, we always went back to the big giant monsters because, you know, there was just something that hit us the right way. And you came from my era too. That's why I love about talking about you about this. Do you consider yourself Showa yourself?
Oh, hell yeah.
I know. Me too. Yeah. We're Showa. That's what we grew up with.
I was born in 83. So the Emperor, it was the Showa Emperor. So.
Yeah. I mean, there's some young people that are Showa too. My kids, you know, they don't mind Millennium. They don't mind Heisei. You know, they don't mind the newer stuff, but we always go back to Showa.
Yeah. It's just, you got what was it, like 13 films? Something like that, you know, with just a little bit of everything from the serious to the dark to the fun and the humor, you know. So Showa all day. Robert, like Robert Dyer said, Showa for life.
That needs to be a shirt. Oh man, yeah. And only the Godzilla fans and only the Kaiju fans would get it. But yeah, that's why we speak a language all our own. And you know, that's why we like seeing each other at conventions. We're speaking this language. Other people, it's like, what the heck are you guys saying? I'm not with you. And it's like, we'll bring you up to speed, you know. Welcome to the fan.
Show you the goods. The goods is in the Showa. Showa the goods.
Yeah. And you know what? It's like when it comes to collectibles, you know, you go to the collectible places and I'm like, you know, where's the Godzilla section? And it's this tiny little section. And it's like, man, I can't keep Godzilla stuff in the store. It just flies out. Yeah. And I'm like, okay, I don't see the Star Wars stuff flying out. I like Star Wars too, but I'm not collecting it because it's just, oh gosh, it's too much. But like this stuff, what's that?
I said collecting Star Wars is like a whole other monster.
I know, absolutely. And yeah, I don't know if you were, you know, peripheral fandoms like that. You're just all Godzilla collectibles, right? You're not into, I don't know. Like I also collect some Motu, Master of the Universe, because again, my age and my upbringing. But other than that, you know, it's got to be Kaiju. Ultraman, I mean, it's still Kaiju. And, you know, it's got to be Pacific Rim, some of that. But I don't know if you collect anything that's peripheral.
I have some Star Wars stuff. I do have a handful of Hot Toys 1/6 scale figures. The bad guys. I got Vader, Palpatine, Kylo Ren, Darth Maul, Grand Moff Tarkin, and some stormtroopers mixed in between and whatnot. You know, just as to complement the main villains. I'm a big Saw fan. Oh wait, no, wrong arm. So there's Billy on my arm. So I love the Saw movies. So I have some Saw collectibles. I got some other little things here and there, you know, horror related, but it's all got 99% Godzilla all day.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah. When they're coming to my collection room, it's like, where's the other stuff? No, it's mostly Godzilla. Yeah. So yeah, born in 66, Showa all the way. Yeah. Just like the, you know, Showa for life. Yes. Jessica Etchell's first film was 73. That brings me to something that I ask everyone. You could ask your favorite, but this might be a different selection for you. Your favorite and the one you rewatch as often as you can. Because I might say that 85, 84 is my favorite, but you kind of be in the mood. You got to kind of be in a mood to watch it. And my rewatchability factor is Megalon because I just love that movie and I can throw it in anytime. It never gets old, but it's not necessarily my favorite. But do you have one that's in the rewatchability?
So my favorite is absolutely Mothra versus Godzilla. But when it comes to the rewatchability, I that's a hard to answer because ever since streaming and having the accessibility to just grab your remote and just search or hit play or whatever, they're all there, you know. So sometimes like there's a bunch on HBO Max now, or that's been on HBO Max for a while, and sometimes I'll just put them on and just let them play, you know. So I've been like watching a lot of them just here and there throughout the year. But if you had to ask me like which one would I put on and watch, like, yeah, like, oh, let's watch this. Mothra vs. Godzilla, absolutely. GMK, absolutely. Godzilla -1, absolutely. Probably probably Godzilla versus Megalon because that's my first one. Yeah, so those would be my probably first 4 right now. Clearly, with Godzilla -1, that's still just hot off the presses. So that's one is easy, I think, for I would say a lot of people just to press play and watch.
Yeah. Oh, you can't go wrong with that. I mean, that is just
Godzilla versus Gigan, like Leslie just said. Absolutely, that's another one.
That's right. Yeah, yeah. That's what I figured with his
Oh.
and Robert D's. Watch Atragon. That's a good one too. For talking Godzilla.
Non-Godzilla movies though. Frankenstein Conquers the World, War of the Gargantuas, and the Mysterians.
Oh.
Rodan. Actually, all Matango. All those non-Godzilla Toho films are phenomenal.
Love it. I think people need to really appreciate those more.
Yeah.
Yeah, yep. They are amazing. DCJ's talking about what about dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, collect Gamera. I'm sure you got some Gameras.
Yeah.
I see Legion, I think.
Yeah, I got Legion. I've got the 30 centimeter Gamera right over here next to the -1. 25 centimeter Gamera, and I think that's it. I had the 95 and the 99 Gameras, but I sold those because the 96 is my favorite.
Okay. I was going to say, yeah, the non-Godzilla Tohos are superior overall in my book. So any particular favorite non-Godzilla kaiju that you can say is at top of your list?
Favorite non-Godzilla kaiju? Hedorah has become unintentionally one of my favorites over the last 10 years or so, especially collecting. I think after Godzilla, I have after Godzilla, the most kaiju I have in collecting is Hedorah. He's just weird. He works great in Sofubi format with all the crazy colors and everything. And clearly he's got 4 different, stages. So that just enhances the collecting. Baragon's another one. I love Baragon. Both Showa and GMK versions. Hold on. Let me look. Yeah, I'll just go with that.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, Hedorah is great. Yeah, Smoggy and all the forms that he's got. He did not work well in that SH Monster Arts. I got to tell you, that one that came out is a great figure, but there is all that articulation with the tendrils and stuff. They just fall off. So they put them on these ball joints, and they're just really loosey goosey, and they're just I just pick it up, and parts of it fall right off, and it's he doesn't lend himself much to articulated. But for a Sofubi, sure, yeah.
That's a drag about the SH Monster Arts figures. The shit's always popping off. I have a few NECA figures; those feel really sturdy. And the only couple that I bought of the NECA figures, I was like, that's it. I'm not doing articulated stuff again. I'm not getting back into SH Monster Arts. I had a lot of them at the time, I had all for up to, I think, when the Kiryu Goji came out. And then I sold off all that stuff. But that was something I was looking forward to with the Haya figures. I have the 91 on pre-order with Vampire Robots. And I just saw, what was that comment that was just up there?
Oh, it's Robert Kennedy. He had the exclusive Vampire Robot exclusive Burning Godzilla bought from Kaiju Live and had Rich signature on the tail. That's awesome.
Burning. Okay. I remember that's the CCP Burning Godzilla, if I remember correctly. And that was another thing that blew my mind. It was the first time somebody asked me to sign their figure. I'm like, what? We're going to ruin it. Why would you want me to sign it? But I was like, okay, all right. Autographing figures. Please, who am I? I'm nobody.
Yeah. Oh, gosh.
I'm just a collector and a fan like everybody else. Don't put me on a pedestal. Don't.
Yeah,
don't.
That's what he's saying. Yeah, the CCP.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Mark Rodriguez, good to have you. So, Varan, cool looking kaiju. Yes. Thank you, Keizo Murase. Okay, yeah. Varan's my favorite non-Godzilla because I just think he's the underdog, but we kind of talked about Angulus. There's a lot of underdogs out there that don't get their moment in the spotlight. Angulus has got some, but yeah, Baragon, doesn't get a lot of credit all the time, but it's we got to collect those ones that are the non-Godzilla ones to complete it. Otherwise, you can just see dorsal fins everywhere, but I'd like to see.
Yes.
I'd like to see Gigan. I'd like to see Rodan.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what's cool about this is that all the years that are attached to them. When I see the fact that you can buy these Bandai little figures, not Bandai like the Bandai movie monster series, it's like the Bandai boxed articulated figures,
Yeah.
Bandai Namco ones in Walmarts, and they have the year attached to them. People are always asking me, what's that about? It's like, what's the film he's coming from? And so look it up. What was he? What did he look like in 2004's Final Wars? It didn't say that, but I want him to search it up, and I want him to, start figuring out how to be a Godzilla fan, because part of my upbringing too was going to the library and finding books on film, classic film, monster, sci-fi, and the pictorial history of horror movies. And it had these Godzilla movies that I hadn't seen yet, and they had pictures from them. And I'm like, I want to see that. I want to see that. And then there was a page for Gappa, a page for Gamera. And I'm just like, all of these. And it was just like I could not get enough. And for you and me, it was like a hunt going out there and finding where could we find these? They weren't on streaming,
Nope.
Sometimes Monster Vision. But
Monster Vision, you have to go to a video rental store or catch it on TV, like Monster Vision, like you said, or UPN, when I lived. And I think that's how I recorded King Kong versus Godzilla, which I hadn't seen, until we recorded it off TV. So that was the way to do it. Or bootleg,
Favorite non-Toho Showa Kaiju. Well, okay. Yeah. Non-Toho. Daimajin. Yes.
Yeah. Epic.
Daimajin's amazing. Yeah. And then obviously anything coming out of Daiei Studios there. Least favorite non-Godzilla monsters. I don't know. They're all great.
Like who would I hate?
I don't want to hate any of them, but yeah. Because we're gonna get somebody who's be like, well, that's my favorite. Giant condor.
Yeah. Actually, I'm like Big Bird. Whoop-de-doo.
Right.
But I don't mean that like I don't like. He just doesn't do nothing for me. He flew in, got blasted in the face, and then crashed to the ocean. That's it.
Yeah.
Crashed Godzilla a couple times. Whoop-de-doo.
Yeah. Some people don't like Gabra. Some people like him.
Well, I always love when Gabra is brought up. Like you have to watch the movie in the mindset of what the story is being told. Gabra is a bully, so he fulfills his mission in the movie exactly as such. He's a bully picking on Minya, clearly because the kid that was picking on Ichiro, his name was Gabra too. Right? Yeah. But I dig Gabra for what he is. I defend Godzilla's Revenge a lot, because when I was a kid, I always fantasized like, oh, this would be so cool to, be on Monster Island or be, in New York City and Godzilla's there. I'm like, hey, down here, before he steps on me because he doesn't see me, which would be sad. Like, how do you not see me? I'm your biggest fan. I'm like, but okay, thanks.
Well, and that one as a kid had the rewatchability. I still have my VHS tape, and watched the heck out of that because it was fun as a kid to watch. Going through life as a Godzilla fan where no one else is, into this Godzilla stuff, and there's a bully around, and it's like they don't understand you, but it's like Godzilla, he empowers us. He makes us feel powerful.
Yep.
I don't care what anyone says. Love Godzilla's Revenge. I can relate to Ichiro and being loner, loving kaiju, plus making weird noises like he did. Yeah.
I don't know how he does it.
Some people like 98 Zilla. That's fine. You can love it. Okay.
Oh, wait. How long does let me tell you something. It usually doesn't last long, but speaking of Godzilla's Revenge, that Mondo All Monsters Attack set with Godzilla, Gabra, and Minya, they're in my Detolf downstairs, and when I open the case, they still stink. So really? I think I've found the forever freshness because those bastards, it smells like they were rubbed in like marijuana. Like it's like it doesn't smell like marijuana, but it does. But it doesn't. It's just they stink. I wish I could go grab them right now and put it up to the camera for you all to smell it. It's bad.
The all new Monster Report Live and Smell-O-Vision.
Yeah,
That's the one thing. That's the one thing you can't get across is the smell of the figure, the feel of the figure. But you also do some really amazing photography. I love when you post to Instagram your photography.
Thank you. Like that's the other fun part about collecting is the photos. Actually, is there a way to present image? I just took the photos for, I don't know if I could do this while we're doing this right now.
Yeah, if you're able to. Yeah.
But let me try one. I don't know if that's going to work. No, let's try to pull it up.
Nope. Yep.
Yeah. So like, all right. So boom, simple photo. I just took some photos for the next Bandai Marathon episode that I'm doing, and taking the photos it's part of it. And I love the photography. I love getting that angle, and taking the camera and just, lay it on the floor or however you got to get that angle. This was just a simple shot for the thumbnail, more or less. But that's the fun of collecting, is taking them outside or setting up, like I do in here for the videos, is trying to capture what I see for when I put together the video for you to see, more or less.
And maybe some inside baseball, because I don't do as much with the photography as videography, but I love this and how I just saw your Canon. I'm guessing that's like a Rebel mirrorless, or what is that guy?
It's an old, I really need to upgrade my camera here, but it's a T3i I bought this back in, I think 2014. I really need, I need a new camera. I really should upgrade. I looked at one a couple months ago, but I was like, there's really nothing wrong with this, but if I get a new camera, get a better lens, I can take better photos, so but I've been using this for every review I've done. At one point I was using my iPhone for photos, but then I was like, why don't I just start using this? And learning how to, take better pictures. That's what that camera helps do. The majority, I'll be honest with you, the majority of my Instagram photos come from my iPhone. So it's nice out. So I'm taking pictures again with the green behind me off the deck. So I'm setting up on the deck and, getting low and getting those shots to make the figures look like monsters that they are. So it's just having a vision. Anybody I know, I think a lot of people in here that I know take pictures of their figures. Like when you get that vision, it's like you just got to get it right, and that's the fun of it.
Yeah. Do you use any light boxes, or do you got like a little setup with backdrops?
So I have two of these set up that basically I set up on the floor here. There's another one that it's hidden behind the door because I usually have one of these lights clipped on to that bookcase right there.
Yeah.
And then I do have backdrops. I've got like 8 different colors. And I set up like a tripod rig over here, roll the paper out, set the lights up, and I basically lay on the floor and take the photos for the reviews. But it's really just bucket lights with a shower curtain or shower cap on top of it as a diffuser.
Yeah.
That was a Christine Chapin idea years ago. I'm like, that's a good idea. So I don't know if she's doing it, but I've been doing it like this for a while. I have some other lights and whatnot. Clearly, when I film the videos, I set the lights, I turn the lights on as well. And then clearly the whole video editing process, that's a whole other project, just aside from taking the photos and filming. I've said it for years. I want to do like a behind the scenes, how I make my videos. And, there's a reason why I can't crank one out every day. I mean, I could if I didn't have a day job, but if for me to do a video from the moment I start with photography to filming to setup to editing to posting. It could take me anywhere 6 to 8 hours. It's not not a lot of work, but it's work. And I love the editing part. I just find editing fun. Even making the intros is something that I've enjoyed doing, over the years. I like switching them up, but it's a project in itself.
Oh yeah.
So,
I'm with you on that. Yeah, because it can be grueling, but at the same time, it's fun, and you love it when it comes out, and you just love that people are interacting with you.
Yeah.
And what kind of editing software do you use?
I use Final Cut Pro 10. So
awesome. Yep.
That's what I use. What do you use?
That's the same thing. Yep. Final Cut.
Yeah. For the longest time, I was editing on. I have a MacBook Pro. I used that when I first started doing reviews in 2013, up until I want to say 2016 is when I picked up what I'm on now is the iMac, desktop computer. So when I bought that, I had them, I bought Final Cut Pro and it had that installed. And I feel like I'm not, see, you're doing green screen. I don't even know how to do that. I know I got to buy a green screen, but I've never done it. I don't know if I would need it nor would like to do it. I don't know. Like I would have to hey, you know what? I could do that now. But I feel like with Final Cut Pro, like I barely scratched the surface of using it. See? Yes.
Here's the magic. The magic's over. I'm on my couch and I just cover it with a green cloth and painted the wall green.
That's awesome.
All it is. So yeah, magic back.
All right.
Anyways,
yeah. See?
I can help
that green screen because I can see the green on your mic stand reflected.
Yeah, that's the problem with a small room too.
Yeah.
Is the reflections. It's hard to kill all of that, and even like over here, some of that. But yeah, I can definitely, if you ever need some Final Cut tips and tricks and stuff, I'm glad to help with that kind of stuff and graphic arts, photoshopping, thumbnail creation. I do that for Everett all the time. Yeah. He's always hitting me up for a thumbnail, but
nice.
Love working. I don't charge anything. I just want to help these guys, because I was there too. I got started with just shooting with an iPhone or whatever, or just a little camcorder.
Yep.
And you'd grow from there and see what you can do and expand upon what you do. So
I make it more fun.
Awesome. Yeah, we're gonna start shutting down here, but I want you to get the chance to shout out anything coming up, any announcements you want to make, and where people can find you out on the internet, maybe where they could see in person.
All right, so in person, I think if you haven't heard of this little convention, it's not that big. It's called G-Fest. If you haven't heard of it, it's a Godzilla-related convention held in Chicago once a year. I'll be there. So if you go to G-Fest, that's where you'll be able to see me. For any of my New England folks in the area, up in the New England area, I don't know if Jess is still watching. Probably going to try to do something in my area with the locals again. It's been a while. Other than that, next video, like I said, I'll be working on tomorrow will be King Kong versus Godzilla for the Bandai Marathon. That what I started doing, what I said I was going to do for a while, Bandai reviews, more or less. Not like in depth like I do X Plus reviews. Good, Jess is still watching. Yeah, feast before the fest. So King Kong versus Godzilla is next, and now that we're getting into the 60s films, the table will start filling up with more figures. Like specifically once I get to Mothra versus Godzilla, which will be the following episode, I've got a lot of 64 figures from Bandai, and then so forth. So I'll be cranking out those. If you haven't been following me on Instagram, at Mr. Fresh Vinyl, and clearly the YouTube channel. I do have an X, Twitter, but I don't really use it that much. But yeah, so Instagram, YouTube, hit me up. And then, of course, on Facebook, I've got my Facebook personal page. I don't really post too much Godzilla stuff there, but I got the Fresh Vinyl page, so you could just search for that. But if you're following any one of them, you're seeing all the same stuff anyways, so you don't have to punish yourself.
Yeah, I was gonna say the G Fest. If you want to meet Rich in person, he's gonna be there July 11th through 13th. I had to look up the date because it's always the week that I can't be there because
No.
4-H for my kids. So maybe one year we'll be able to get back to G Fest, and you and I can meet up again in person again soon. Hopefully before we are 110.
Yeah, and Frank, I was supposed to go back to Japan 3 weeks ago, and it just didn't happen. I went in November for the 70th anniversary, which was really fun to get to see Godzilla Day. Met Frank. I didn't really bump into a lot of people that I should have. That trip I was with a buddy of mine, and it was mainly not about Godzilla stuff. That was the focus was to enjoy Japan and experience and explore a bunch of stuff. But I was supposed to go back 3 weeks ago, and it just didn't happen. So I do apologize. There will be a future trip, and I will let you know.
Awesome. Yeah. I need to get out to Japan sometimes. I hear so much great stuff.
God, let me tell you, the 7-Elevens. You can, I sent my buddy a TikTok because him and I went in November, and I sent him this TikTok and it's a video where it's the person's hand, and the caption is, "I go to Japan for only one thing," and it's fall in the hand, get on the plane, get to the airport, get to Japan, get on the subway, and you're still fall in the hand, and they walk into 7-Eleven, and they go to grab an onigiri, and I'm like, yes, I want one. So good. Lawson's, Family Mart, 7-Eleven. I could just sleep there and eat there all day. They got the best food. They make 7-Elevens here in the United States look like a joke. Japan knows what's up. That's what's up.
Same thing with their public transportation, their subways and stuff. You don't feel like you're going to get shot or anything, right?
No. Let me. I know we're trying to wrap up, but let me tell you a subway story about in Tokyo. Me and my buddy, we were coming back from a day trip in the small town called Hano. It was way out on the outskirts of Tokyo. Like, we literally looked at a map, and we were like, all right, it goes like, here's the mountain line. The mountains go like this, blah, blah, blah. Let's pick that town. Didn't know where it was. Didn't know anything about it, but we said it just jump on the Ikebukuro line all the way to the end. Went all the way. It was like 35 miles outside of Tokyo, and like in the mountains. We're walking around the mountains, blah, 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 blah. Anyways, on our way back to Tokyo, we're sitting on the train, and a family gets on, mom and dad, and they have a daughter. And I was like waiting for them to make eye contact with me because I saw like the father was holding his daughter, kind of doing the looking around for an empty seat. And I'm like, come on, look back here. I don't know how to get his attention, but I was like, hopefully he looks. So as soon as he made eye contact, I got up and said, sit down. I'm not, how could I sit there, a dingbat, while a father is holding his daughter? But like, and I love that I was able to do that because as a foreigner, I want to make sure that I'm representing myself well and hopefully representing the U.S. in a better light, than most people outside the U.S. think of us. But the Japanese subway, let me tell you, it is as efficient as you heard it to be. Like Robert just said, it is just so efficient. People are so polite. You could be standing on the subway and somebody might accidentally just bump into you, or somebody's leg might be near you or something. Nobody complains. Here in the United States, you're like, can you move your leg? Can you move your bag? People are whiny complainers here in the United States. If you ever go to Japan, it will humble you. It will humble you. And it'll make you realize like how embarrassing we really are here in the United States in some ways. It's just the truth. But anyways, Japan's great. Go.
Amazing. I'd love to go myself. I hope you get back again soon. And I get to enjoy it again because it's like there's so much outside of the big cities, and a lot of people don't know how much landmass is actually out there, and beautiful, just, open areas, wooded areas, of course, seeing Mount Fuji, there's so much beautiful. Christine is in the chat. Where have you been, Christine?
Boring. Nobody cares.
Oh, wow. Okay. Well, shout out to Christine anyways. I saw the who is it? Brett Mullen did a video. He's done videos on some collectors. Christine was the latest, so great to have you. Stephen Patrick Lee too. Yep, awesome, good to have you. And so we've done our shout out. Again, you got to subscribe to Fresh Vinyl Live on YouTube, Rich Iso's account, and follow him out there on all the social platforms, especially Instagram, because that's where you're going to see some great pictures that he takes. And of course, hit him up at G Fest. He'll be walking around and enjoying the time and hanging out with all you guys. That's awesome.
I'll blend in with most of the kids because I'm short.
We're all big kids, right? All right. So if you came here at the end, you can watch this on VOD afterwards, but you can't get into the prize because I've already given that away. Christine probably already has like 4 or 5 of these.
Because they send them to her for free.
Is that right?
Yeah, it's right. She makes her little. She's here, so now I'm going to give her shit. So she signed up to be one of their what do you call that? Ambassadors. So you're ambassador. As long as you make videos, they send you free shit. So all the stuff that she gets is for free. She got so much of it. I told her, why don't you just do giveaways on Collect All Monsters? Because she's trying to get rid of it because she don't even want Super 7 shit.
Oh, wow.
Christine says I'm hobbit sized. She's 5'4", the same height as me. So she's a hobbit as well.
Goodness. Okay. Yeah. Oh, wow. Yeah. Much love between you two. So, all right. Yeah. It's like Leslie. Again, if you're not throwing some jabs out, there must be something wrong. So, but I think she's closer to that Super 7 store anyway. So it's kind of, if I were in Tokyo, Japan, of course, I'd be going to the Godzilla store and going broke.
Yo, let me tell you about the Godzilla store. See, I keep rambling. It's more like the Godzilla corner because the pictures that you see online, it makes it actually look like a store, but it's literally a corner in a department store, and it's not that
really
big. Yeah. I mean, it's cool to go see, but when I walked in, I'm like, that's it? I'm like, okay. Not knocking it. I mean, it's cool, but the Shibuya one looks new. The new one looks cool.
Everything is about space saving because it's a tightly packed. I mean,
it is
city Tokyo. Yeah, Japan is fresh. All right, thank you again, Rich, for your time.
Thank you for having me.
This was so much fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, been looking forward to this, and we're definitely going to have to do some collabs as we go. And as we continue to create content, we see some cool things coming out of Japan. Looking forward to the next Godzilla content that comes out of Japan, Monsterverse, whatever, that's fine. But I want to see Takashi Yamazaki do something again because, oh man.
Yes. Well, he's tapped into direct the next movie. All right, hey, our closing thoughts. What would you have the next movie be?
As far as
Yamazaki for Godzilla -1 sequel.
Like B as in the story? Or
what would you pitch?
Goodness. I gotta see Godzilla fight another monster now. But I kind of want him to see him fight an original monster.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, sure, it'd be cool to see him fight a classic monster again, bring something back. But Yamazaki's kicking butt over there with what he does. And I trust him like a Christopher Nolan kind of director, writer, visual effects kind of guy who knows his stuff. I was like, just give him the reins and he'll show you something great. Yeah. So I think he can come up with a cool original kaiju. That's what I'd love to see. What about you?
So my pitch, if I was Yamazaki and I'm pitching the Toho, I would say we're going to set the film in today, 2025, 26, whatever. Akiko, the daughter, clearly she's an older woman now, but she's the bridge between -1 and the new film. It also takes Godzilla that long to fully regenerate, but he's also bigger to, clearly accommodate the bigger landscape of Tokyo, and with enough time for most of Japanese people to forget that when they start hearing the stories about Godzilla, they don't believe it. I think that was already pitched in GMK, kind of, sort of. So that would be my take. I want to see this Godzilla, Yamazaki's Godzilla, in a modern day setting.
Yeah. Oh, so, that would be awesome.
But I guess with modern day problems, military, and doesn't necessarily have to be fighting another monster either. So
Yeah,
But yeah, that would be my idea.
that would
Yeah.
work well. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's so much he could go with, but yeah, modern day, after some time has passed, and seeing what, you know, whatever the heck that Noriko thing was on her neck. I
Yeah,
mean,
that,
you know,
yeah.
a
Oh,
lot of speculation, but
yep.
yeah, I kidded that she's going to be the next Venom. Actually,
Oh,
no, it's like I did a
never know.
Photoshop. That's all I did. It was a joke. I couldn't find it real quick, but I'll post it on Instagram or something so everyone can see it. But it was in a video. But yeah, Christine, yeah, you'll have to check out the video on VOD later on both our channels. Yeah, I want to see a modern day too. How would they beat him in today's world?
With green Skittles.
Skills.
That's a Christine joke.
Okay, gotcha. Inside baseball there. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Everyone, subscribe to both our channels. We will catch you on another episode of the Monster Report Live. This has been Nick Adam hosting this show with special guest, Mr. Fresh Vinyl himself, Rich Eso, and this is the start of something great. We'll have you again. We'll do some collabs as we go along. And again, we appreciate all of you guys subscribing to our channels, liking, subscribing, all those great things, commenting. The chat was awesome to get this, because otherwise, like what Rich said, this wouldn't be worth it if it's just the two of us talking. Everyone's part of this. So you are all part of this as well. And we appreciate it. So for me, Nick Adam, this has been the Monster Report. Rich Eso, thank you again. Appreciate it. And you have a great one.
あれはゴジラ。